Clifton has always been HOKA's workhorse shoe. Plenty of cushioning, nice and soft, but a bit of a firmer foam than some of their shoes like the Bondi. Gives you a bit more of a responsive feel, good if you want to pick up the pace slightly. And with the Clifton 10, this update has provided even more cushioning, a little bit of added stability, and a great upgrade to the classic shoe we all know and love. Over the past couple of months, I've racked up 100 miles in this shoe, the obligatory standard for any easy day shoe testing. And I'm going to tell you in this video why I think it has stood up to the test of time. It's a worthwhile upgrade, why Clifton is still an absolute beast of a shoe. So let's talk about some of the stats. So the HOKA Clifton 10. Let's start off with the stack and the foam, something that makes this shoe as comfortable as it is. It's now got 42 millimeters of foam in the back, so it's kind of technically an overstacked shoe, and it drops down 8 millimeters to 34 millimeters. Run Repeat have measured this as a little bit higher at like 44 in the back and 32 in the front, so a bit more of a drop. But we're getting up to the kind of levels that we've seen in the Bondi now and in previous years, except the Bondi just doesn't drop quite as much, got a bit of a wider base, that kind of thing. Bondi also has slightly different foam. In the HOKA, we're still rocking an old kind of classic EVA foam. There's nothing special about it. If you put your thumbs into it in comparison to foams in like the Bondi or other shoes like the Nova Blast, things like that, or Fresh Foam, for example, from New Balance, it's going to be a lot softer than this is. It's still a little bit firm. Now, naturally, with this high stack, you'd start to get worried about stability. But again, because it's got that firmer foam, it's actually quite a stable shoe. It's also got a relatively wide back and kind of midfoot section in general. HOKA have famously been a pretty narrow brand, but they are actually now working on making especially their toe boxes just slightly wider. Still on the narrow side. If you've got wide feet, you might want to go for a wide fit HOKA or stay away, but for narrow feet people, it works a treat, and they're getting a little bit more accommodating as the more shoes come out. And the upper is just a standard knit upper with the classic HOKA flared heel, lovely and comfortable and plush. The tongue is not gusseted in this, but the laces do kind of attach to it or go through little loops in it, so it'll stop it moving around, but it's nice and plush, nice and soft. Everything about this is designed for comfort with a little bit of a different mindset to the Bondi. It's got that kind of a bit more response to it. The best way that I think of looking at the Clifton is this. You've got on one side here your Bondi, super plush, super cushioned, like running on a cloud. On the other side, you've got the Skyflow. If you remember that, I did a review of that last year. Brilliant shoe. Bit firmer, bit more responsive, good if you want to do some pickups on your easy run, but without having any plate or any fancy foam, so it's still a bit cheaper. In the middle, that is where the Clifton sits. Not quite as soft as the Bondi, not quite as hard as the Skyflow. They're all really close together, and to be fair, could probably be used pretty interchangeably. But the Clifton hits that sweet spot of still being protective and cushioned, but having a little bit more response for when you want to pick up the pace, maybe in strides or something like that. It's a little bit confusing, but there we go. Weight, again, you don't really need to know. I think it's like 280 grams or something like that. I'll put the number on screen, but that's not really important. It's an easy day shoe. You're not looking for something super light. You're looking for something more comfortable than anything else. You wouldn't want a really light upper like on the Mac X2 on the Clifton, because it would feel wrong. It'd feel too harsh for an easy day shoe. The durability, obviously I'm not sure because I've only run it for 100 miles, but I think it's going to be pretty good. You have quite a lot of exposed rubber on the bottom here. That's just plain EVA foam, so that could get a bit scuffed up, but there's plenty of coverage of harder rubber on the outside as well. I'm not really a heel striker, as you can probably see, so I haven't mashed into that too badly. Some of this is coming away a tiny bit, if you can see there, like it's starting to get roughed up a little bit, but that's just in the natural course of wearing the shoe. The grip still looks good. I haven't had any problems with it after 100 miles. I'm expecting to get a solid 500 mile shift out of these, at least be in the rotation for quite a while, at least until the Clifton 11 comes out, maybe soon. So it's well known that I like HOKA shoes, but what is it about this one that I like so much? I think one of the things I really love about the Clifton 10, Clifton lineup in general, is just its reliability. Like, it's always there, it's always kind of the same. Nothing too fancy, just really solid at being a great easy day shoe. I think There's something about having a relatively simple shoe, like there's not too much going on, there's not a plate, anything like that. Really pretty boring foam in the grand scheme of foam these days. But oh, hang on. But I love the fact that it's just always there, consistent, reliable, not too soft, not too hard, leaves the legs a little bit of work to do, but nice and protective still. It's a weird balance to try and explain, but I think it's just nailed with this shoe. If I want to do strides after this run, I can, because you can kind of pick up in it. I think the light's about to go green. I'd better get going. There we go. That ever-present reliability of a Clifton is something that really cannot be underestimated, I don't think. Now, what about some cons? Because I do have a couple of complaints. Firstly, it is still a little bit narrow. I mean, I don't have very wide feet, but I do notice I have more space at the front of my toes than I have space in width, if you see what I mean. I often get an 11 in HOKA, and actually I've just realised that I can fit pretty nicely into 10.5s as well. So this I still got an 11, but I've kind of fixed that problem. Well, actually I probably haven't fixed it. HOKA have probably fixed it a little bit. I can now fit into 10.5 HOKAs quite nicely with that width, which is very good. So I can have a bit of a snugger fit, which I quite like, but it is still a little bit narrow if you do have wide feet, and that's cutting off quite a lot of the running market, and a lot of shops don't stock the wide versions for you to try. You have to order them online and just try them out there and potentially send them back. Secondly, I know I've just said really good things about this characteristic, but the foam can be a bit confusing. It just really isn't that up to date, basically. It doesn't feel like a new shoe, which I know I said I really liked, but it can mean that on the days my legs are feeling a little bit heavy, I'm really reaching for my 1080s, something like that that's a little bit softer. I actually don't know if I'd want this as my sole easy day shoe. I think it's a workhorse, but I love being able to put my feet into something super soft on the days when my legs are really hurting, and I don't know if the Clifton does that. It puts me into great form, it puts me on my toes, gets the legs working a little bit, which I love for general running, but just occasionally I want something like a Bondi or a 1080 that is just going to make it a bit more of a comfortable ride. So I'd love to see in the Clifton 11 a bit of an upgrade in foam to make it a bit softer or a bit more responsive. It's kind of just not really changed much in the past couple of iterations, which is good, reliable, everything like that, but I'd like to see some more exciting foam, just for fun. And thirdly, and this is quite a big one, I love the Clifton personally, it really works well for me, but is it kind of losing its spot in HOKA's lineup? As I said, you've got your Bondi for the super soft plush cushion miles, and now you've got this Skyflow, which is kind of released and has not got a lot of hype, but that's going to do your responsive easy runs, your faster things, strides, pickups, progressions, whatever. Is there that kind of niche for the Clifton? That being said, I think the Clifton 10 is a brilliant shoe. As you can tell, I really, really like it. I'm going to go back to my main word of the review, and that is reliable workhorse. It'll get the job done and it'll last you a long time. I love it. I'm going to use it for a very long time, take it to the gym, things like that. Proper workhorse shoe. And if you like colours, there are plenty of those. I got it in a pretty boring colourway, just the cheapest as usual, but there are loads of fun colours and no doubt more will get released over the coming months. So until the Clifton 11, that is my review on this version. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, there are other HOKA reviews that I've got on my channel. Go and check them out. I've got a very exciting one coming up soon of the Mac X3, Mac X2 versus Mac X3. I hope you're going to enjoy that. Look forward to that. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.